Hey everyone, it's Tucanxan and welcome to day 19 of 30 of my 30-day challenge. It is currently 10:30 at night and I am still editing, so this video will probably be up late. We're going to try and get it posted before midnight, but if not, it will be up at midnight so you all can see it tomorrow. So we are continuing the story from yesterday and we are still continuing the ink wash theme over the next few days, and I originally wanted to have two pieces up like I did yesterday for you all today, but honestly this took a while to kind of get going, and I kind of woke up late because I stayed up late editing my pictures for my website. I stayed up till like 3 and then I woke up at 10 and then it took me a while to get going, and I think I did the pencils and the line inking from about 11 to, I want to say maybe 2 or so. So I do have another piece pre-prepared for tomorrow because, like I said, I was going to paint both of them today, but this just kind of took a little bit of time, and I was like, okay, it's about 6:30 now. I just finished filming. I can't do the other painting because I have to do dinner and all that stuff. So today I am still using the Talon's drawing ink. I find that I really like the way it dries on. It doesn't kind of have that matte velvety texture like the Higgins ink does, but it's not quite as I don't know, it's not quite as dark as the Rapidograph ink either. I kind of want to do like a side-by-side comparison eventually. So I will say there were definitely a lot of challenges in this video, but I think this time around I really kind of got a good handle on my washes. Like, I did still make a couple of mistakes, but they weren't nearly as noticeable as they were in the last two pieces, so that's good. That means I'm improving, and that was the highlight, I think, of today. It's still kind of, I think it's a difficult medium, honestly. It's not easy, especially knowing how to kind of render buildings and people and all just backgrounds, cars, that kind of stuff. All of that is super out of my comfort zone, and knowing where lighting was going to land, like, I'm pretty much just, let me level with you, I'm just faking it till I make it with this stuff. Like, my comfort zone is portraits of pretty girls, you know, and maybe a creepy element added in there. It's definitely not doing all of the stuff that you see in the panel here. So yeah, that's what we're working on today, and I went in with the Talon's ink and I used the straw trick that I mentioned yesterday to put 1 drop in one piece of my palette, 2 drops in the other, 3 drops in the other, and then I had an entire black portion, and I gotta say, like, that worked really well this time around. I think I'm kind of getting the handle of my my life hack. And so the main buildings in the background, that was done with just the 1 drop of ink, because I'm sure I probably could have gone darker there, but I was honestly like just super happy with the flat wash back in there, and I didn't want to mess it up too much. So yeah, there was definitely a lot of, I think, perfectionist elements that worked against me today, but that's okay. Like, we all have good and bad days, and I still think that the end result of this was great. I'm super happy with it, and I think that you guys are still going to see the relation of the story here, and I'm going to explain a little bit more today about it by the time this video is over. And if it's creepy, good. If my partner watched the video today and he said that it was super creepy and weird, and that's exactly what I like. Also, he said, "Why do you call me partner? It sounds like you're a lesbian." And I'm like, because boyfriend sounds so elementary, dear Watson. You know, it's just like, he's my boyfriend. I'm not into that. I'd rather call him my partner, because that's what he is, and I feel like that's a more mature term for a romantic relationship. So I went in with the 1 drop of ink with a good bit of water in the background, and that's what I started doing the asphalt on the road with. So that's really just what I did kind of for the whole process here. I started with a really light wash, and then I slowly built up layer by layer. And that's why I think that the inking and the ink wash took so long for this. It took about 2 hours, which on top of like 2 hours of drawing time and like an extra hour of inking, it just was kind of a lot today. And I still have a lot to do. Like after I finish this, I'm gonna have to go back and edit some more pictures because I'm on a roll. And I kind of found the pocket, as my partner likes to say. Being in the pocket, if you don't know, is like when you have found like the groovy part of a song for a bass player. Usually, like it's that dun 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 dun, that kind of thing that like it keeps your head bobbing. You're like, yeah, this is cool. I like this. That's totally an aside. I got super sidetracked there. Sorry. So yeah, working light to dark here, and that's something that later on I kind of regret not doing, because when I finally went into the coloring aspect, because the whole thing is like bringing a scene to light with, not light, but I guess kind of light, but to life with just black and white, and like, you know, mastering kind of the use of contrast and lighting to create depth in a scene. But I wish that I had worked light to dark in the hair later on, and I will totally vent to you guys about that in a little bit. So the scene that we have going on right now is there are, you know, it's a regular town. To me, I kind of saw this as, I don't know why, I saw this as being in Russia. Kind of. So you see like a little babushka over there in the corner, and she's holding her cane and her Bible, and there's like a middle-aged woman who tends a bakery, but I didn't know how to write bakery in Russian, otherwise I would have put it on the window. The devil's in the details. So yeah, I went in with just slowly built up my colors, and I put more shading in the awning back there, which I think turned out really nice. You know, like I said, I'm super familiar with how light and shadow work. So a lot of this is just guessing for me, but I think considering that I'm just guessing, it actually turned out pretty good. And then, of course, there's the same character from yesterday in the background, and he's sort of shrouded in darkness. So if you probably couldn't tell by now, spoiler alert, that is the devil. So I will explain a little bit more, I think, when I finish this series on the last day, which I think will probably be not tomorrow, but the day after. That'll be the end of this little short story. I will kind of explain a little bit more what the inspiration behind this piece is. But for now, I just kind of want you all to enjoy the story. And now we're working on the coat here. So I kind of did everything in the background first because I wanted to establish the mid-tones, right? And I saved her for last because I knew I wanted her to be the most dominant thing in the scene. And as well, I think technically as things are farther away, they get kind of darker, or almost, it's either they get darker or they get lighter. I really don't know. You can tell me and correct me if I'm wrong. But I really like the way her coat turned out. That's kind of the moral of the story. It was a lot of fun, and I think most artists going into this kind of stuff, they know where the light source is, so they know kind of where cast shadows and lighter shadows would be, but I didn't. I just was like, well, if I was general light, I would have shadow here and I would have light here. Okay, so now we are going into the hair. And let me tell you, the hair was a son of a beach today. Normally, like, watercolor I'm very comfortable with, and I feel like I can really complement it, and it can really complement my style, but today that just did not happen. So like I said, I think it turned out pretty good, but I feel like all the colors ended up muddy because it started off being really orange, and it was much more orange than I wanted. I wanted more of a nutmeg or like a chestnut color. What do they call it? Auburn. Almost like an auburn, but more brown than that, because I think I have this tendency to do redheads with black and white a lot, which I mean is fine, but I didn't want her to be too red because the skin on the man is red, right? So it was just really frustrating today because I kept trying to build and build and build, and I wish that I had kept my hand light. I wish that I'd been more patient with it. I wish that I had given it the watercolor a chance to do what it did. Like, you can even see here as the hair dry is going that it literally lasted for all of 0.2 seconds. I was just so impatient because I'd been working on this piece all day and I still had a lot to do. It did turn out good. Like, it does have the aesthetic that I want, but tomorrow I think more of the piece is kind of her hair. It's a profile shot of the same girl. So she's finally going to be talking, and I definitely want to take more time to render her hair better. Like, you can just see, like, right there, it's like all the colors are kind of starting to blend together. They're getting muddy. That was really, really difficult for me today, but it's okay. Like, we all have good days and bad. I think I already said that in the video, but whatever. I'm just telling you how it is. You know what's up. So yeah, you could just see I'm just like going over and over and over and pulling up color and putting color down and pulling up color. So that was kind of me. It was annoying, super annoying. Honestly, I was actually really, really pissed by the end of it. And then that's when I started to go in with a darker brown because I was like, this is still just way too orange. Like, I don't want people to be saying, oh, gingers have no soul, but whatever. But I still wanted it to kind of tie into the theme where kind of the only color that's really available in the scene is more of a red color. And then I thought I totally messed up here when I started putting the blush and stuff in, but it actually ended up turning out really, really pretty. I think it did exactly what it needed to do, and when I have my website up, you'll see, hopefully in the scanned image, kind of how delicate her skin turned out. So here we go. Now we're working on the devil in the details over there. So this is, again, just using the Grumbacher palette. I'm going to roll back so I can tell you exactly what colors I used, because I used kind of a bunch of different colors today. And I did put some yellow in his eyes, but you totally can't see it. Like, it didn't come out at all. So I used the Carmine, Vermillion. I used Indian Red, Venetian Red, Burnt Sienna, and I think that's Burnt Umber or something. And now here we're going in with the last bit of details, and this was another really frustrating thing because when I was writing this, like, this was kind of what started the whole story, was this quote that just was rolling around in my head for days, and then I messed it up and I messed up the spacing, and I was really upset, but whatever, it's cool. So now I'm going to share with you the next bit of the story. The people in town would often talk about her behind her back. They say she dances with the devil, they all said. She walked on, oblivious to their constant whispers. Alright everyone, that is it for today, so please come back and join me tomorrow if you want to see the next part of this short story. It will be up and ready, I am sure, much quicker than it has been today. Hopefully I will be able to get that out for you all at least by 7 p.m. tomorrow. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff. It makes me so incredibly happy, and I'm happy to have you here with me. Have a good night.